Hey friends, my name's Ruckstar, editor-in-chief of Raving Lunatic Media. I'm here to talk to you today about ads. Whoa, Ruckstar. Ads? Are you guys selling out finally? No, dear viewer. We are just going to be showing our support to the amazing shows here on Raving Lunatic Media, like Sci-Fi Malady, Zodiac Task Force, Why You Should, and the backlogs of the Casatorium, with more to come out in the next calendar year. If you want these shows without these annoying breaks in the middle, you can follow the link in any of the bios of the shows or on our Discord, Raving Lunatic Media. You'll be brought to a subscription page which will help support your favorite creators, us. Enjoy the show and stay crazy, lunatics.
By now, it should be clear to all that as technology advances, it is imperative that human beings do not blindly accept any conclusion the computer gives us. This is evident with AI, where a lawyer who probably thinks he's Harvey Specter, but is more likely Lionel Hutz, used ChatGTP to file a legal brief that had more hallucinations than George Santos's resume. But it is probably most apparent with the use of facial recognition software by police departments. On February 16th, while getting her children ready for school, 32-year-old Portia Woodruff was arrested by 6 officers of the Detroit Police Department for her alleged role in carjacking a 25-year-old man. The allegation states that after meeting a woman earlier in the morning, the man had spent the day drinking in his car at a liquor store parking lot with her, having sex with her, and then drinking some more in a BP gas station parking lot. After an afternoon of casual roadside drinking and car sex, the victim, being the class act that he is, appears to have dropped the female off at a random location where he was met by her accomplice, a man with a handgun, who proceeded to steal his wallet, phone, and car. A few days later, the police arrested a man driving the victim's car. Amazingly, the female accomplice decided to return the victim's phone to the BP gas station they got drunk and screwed in front of. Police used surveillance footage from that BP to run a facial recognition search. The search matched on a 2015 mugshot of Miss Woodruff. The police then slapped Miss Woodruff's mug photo, only her headshot, into a lineup of 5 other headshot photos, and lo and behold, the victim identified her. With that, the Detroit police concluded they had done enough due diligence to obtain an arrest warrant and take Miss Woodruff into custody. One minor problem. Portia Woodruff was 8 months pregnant at the time. Upon arriving at the scene and seeing the very pregnant suspect getting her 6 and 12-year-old children ready for school, the 6 detectives huddled up and realized more investigation was needed and did not execute the warrant. Certainly, this woman who's 8 months pregnant and a mother of 2 wasn't out day drinking in a liquor store parking lot and having random backseat hookup sex with a strange man who hollered at her from his car. No. They did the right thing, and they went back and looked at the surveillance video to see if the woman returning the phone was visibly pregnant. When they realized that she wasn't, they asked the carjacking victim if his lot lizard had been pregnant. When the answer to that was no, they realized their work was not done completely, apologized, and did not execute the warrant. Of course not. Officer Dumbfuck McLazy-ass and the Brainless Bunch did no such thing. They proceeded to arrest Miss Woodruff in front of her crying and terrified children and take an 8-month pregnant woman to jail where they held her for 11 hours while she was having contractions. Thankfully, mom and baby are fine. And after 11 hours, the police finally realized their error and released her. Oh, no, sorry, wrong again. The Brainless Bunch did not admit their mistake, had a judge set bail at $100,000, which Miss Woodruff paid, and then, upon her release, went straight to the hospital to be treated for dehydration. A month later, the Wayne County Prosecutor's Office, which does apparently have at least one functioning brain cell, dropped all charges. This time that's actually true. They did not, however, have 2 brain cells. When reached for comment, the Wayne County prosecutor, Kim Hold the Fucking Line at All Costs Worthy, indicated that the arrest was appropriate based upon the facts. Okay, Kim. Sure, sure it was okay based upon the facts. What facts? Facial recognition software and a headshot lineup? Maybe just one more question by the police would have resolved it. Hey, dude, you who got carjacked, when you were plowing the suspect in your Chevy Malibu in that liquor store parking lot, was the baby bump a problem to get around? Well, there was no baby bump? She wasn't pregnant? You sure? You sure you'd remember that? Yeah, okay. Well, crap. This isn't our woman. That logic, though, would have required 2 brain cells by anyone investigating it, or the DA to even have 2 brain cells to sit there and say, no, the arrest wasn't justified. Apparently, no one in Wayne County law enforcement has more than 1 functioning brain cell. This story exposes problems both with policing in America, and in this case, complete laziness by everyone in America, and over-reliance and trust in the almighty computer. Miss Woodruff was arrested entirely on facial recognition software and a witness picking her headshot out of a lineup. It has long been known that witness testimony and lineup identifications are notoriously unreliable. The victim in most cases assumes that the police have put the actual perpetrator in the lineup. So even if they're not sure, they will almost always choose someone because the police have a suspect. They want me to confirm the suspect. One of these 6 people is a suspect. It's not a trick question where none of them are. But it is notoriously unreliable and should never be used as a sole means of completing an arrest. What is equally well known, however, is that facial recognition software is completely unreliable for those with darker skin tones. Miss Woodruff is African American. For this reason alone, knowing that the suspect is African American and that facial recognition software cannot accurately match African American faces, more research should have been done with the facial recognition results. As early as 2019, the United States government concluded in a report based on a test of 189 facial recognition algorithms tested against a database of millions of photos that the aggregate score result for facial recognition software was that it was up to 100 times more likely to misidentify a person of African American or Native American heritage. This is known data. It's been known since 2019. I know COVID's confused people, but 2019 is a while ago. That data's been out there for 4 years. It should have been enough to prevent any judge in America from issuing a warrant based solely on software results, or for police departments to go request a warrant based on facial recognition software. It should only be a confirmation tool. You've done the legwork. You have eyewitness testimony. You've narrowed it down to a couple suspects. You're pretty sure you've got the right person. And now you just want to match it up. In this case, they did no legwork. They had no idea who the suspect was. And the computer said, this is her. This is known data. All of this should be known. So why are cases like this still occurring? And it's not just one case. My theory is laziness. Solving crimes is difficult work. It takes time. The detectives want results. They become emotionally motivated to obtain justice for the family and to put the bad people away. This is very admirable, but ethically you still need to make sure that you have arrested the correct person, both to prevent the imprisonment of the innocent and, get the actual fucking criminal off the damn street so no one else is hurt. When you arrest the wrong person, the criminal keeps hurting people. There may be additional motivation for the detective in that it is their job to make arrests. A detective who is not closing cases is like a car salesman who's not selling cars. I don't imagine they get rated very high in their reviews. This combination of a moral imperative to get justice for the victim and to succeed at their job can lead detectives to have tunnel vision on getting their suspect. If that means using deceptive interrogation techniques, coercing confessions, lying to the suspect, implying things they cannot deliver to the suspect, such as immunity, they will do it. They do it every day. If that means relying on bad forensic science such as bite mark analysis, which was once considered as solid as fingerprint matching, but is now nearly universally seen as junk bullshit science, they will do that. Facial recognition software is merely the newest shortcut for good police work. The computer says Ms. Woodruff is the person who dropped the phone off. We don't need to look at the full surveillance video to see if the person in the video was visibly very pregnant. even after seeing Miss Woodruff was, because the almighty infallible computer has thought for us and it cannot be wrong. It was Miss Woodruff because the computer says it was. There's a dangerous precedent going on here. With the advent of AI, it is only a matter of time until some police departments develop an AI that takes case data, criminal profiles, all available video evidence, and asks the algorithm to determine who the most likely suspects are and reach a conclusion as to which one of them is most likely to be the true perpetrator. This will lead to more arrests of innocent people. And this matters, even if they don't get convicted. Even if they're not convicted, this cannot be allowed. Miss Woodruff will never be the same after her arrest. Her children have been exposed to a trauma they never should have had been at 6 and 12, watching their mother get arrested in their front yard while she's getting them ready for school. They may need therapy. There may be lifelong effects to these innocent children. Thankfully, the bumbling ineptitude of the brainless bunch resulted in no harm to the baby or Miss Woodruff. But it could have, and that cannot stand. Common sense was not used. When asked about this, the Wayne County Police Chief, James Lawyering the Fuck Up White, swears that we're taking this matter very seriously, but we cannot comment further at this time due to the need for additional investigation. Bullshit, James. Your officers were lazy. They did the bare minimum needed to get a warrant, and they upended a family's life and put an unborn child's life at risk. This investigation should be long over, James. It's really funny that it appears you only started investigating it or needing to investigating it or taking it seriously a few months later when your ass was served with a suit. Which means you really didn't fucking care much before, did you, James? But you do now, right? For full transparency and fairness, this week, James Covering My Ass White stated that Detroit police officers will no longer be allowed to use facial recognition-derived images in photographic lineups. In addition, all future arrest warrants when facial technology is used will be required to be reviewed by 2 police captains. This sounds good, except there were 6 officers present when the arrest of Portia Woodruff occurred. Not one of them used human judgment and said, hey, let's call this off and look deeper. She's 8 months pregnant. No amount of captains reviewing the facial recognition data and the request for the warrant would have known Portia Woodruff was pregnant. It would have required someone to review the surveillance video, notice that the suspect was not pregnant, and that person to be on the scene when they knocked on the door a couple days later, realizing that Miss Woodruff was very, very pregnant, and call the whole thing off. No one exercised that initiative. It's not in the training. This will happen again and again and again. Lives will be upended. Children will be scarred. Justice will not be served. The innocent will be arrested. The guilty will run free. This will happen until there is a cultural change in American policing that is less concerned with getting someone arrested so they can close the case and look tough on crime, and more concerned with getting the right person and taking the necessary time to do it right. The very first step on this path is eliminating the use of facial recognition software until it is reliable to a reasonable degree for people of all races and skin tone. At this time, it is demonstrably proven scientifically to not be a reliable tool. Even when the day comes that it is reliable, it cannot be a sole determining factor. Maybe it can be something used to generate a list of potential suspects, or to support a conclusion vetted out through multiple pieces of supporting research and sound police evidence. Justice is hard. It's tough work. Those who do it right are heroes. We must hold them, however, to a higher standard because of the importance behind getting the right person for the crime. And there must always be a human being checking the work of the computer in any field. We cannot give up the concept of thinking for ourselves and trusting that the AI, the algorithm, the program, the code will reach the right solution, and that once we've developed the code, our work is done. Injustice will happen, and there will be far more consequences than just this. I'm Scott. I'm angry. And my blood type is Scotch.
lunatic.